Now 9:45 on the 18th of May, a Monday night, 2026. This is like the fourth stack of a 30-second exposure of NGC 5248, Galaxy in Boötes. It was a carpe noctem study in the previous series, which had to be broken up into two separate nights due to poor weather. This galaxy is magnitude 10.3, 5.9 by 4.5 arc-minutes, spiral with bar, lowercase bc, so Milky Way-esque, about as large. However, this one only has two spiral arms. I believe we have multiples. 49 million light years distant, RA 133732 with a declination of plus 8 degrees, 53 minutes and 8 seconds. This is now our sixth, coming up on our what would be our sixth stack, so I'm going to pause for a second to allow it to accumulate. Okay, not only did I allow the sixth stack to generate, I also did a hand setting of the histograph, and I can go back to auto and you can see what it looks like, and I'm moving on from there for the NGC 5250 to 5299 series. Okay, we're off to our first study. NGC 5250 was too far north. We're looking for NGC 5251, Galaxy in Boötes, magnitude 13.8, 0.7 by 0.7 arc-minute. Let's see what it's spiral with a lowercase a, so a brightish core, 497 million light years distant, puts it about 120K in diameter. RA is 133724 with a declination of plus 27 degrees, 25 minutes and 9 seconds. And because I'm concerned about aperture block and reflected light, I'm going to go to northern studies first in our 5250 to 5299 series. So let's start with things above 40 degrees in declination northern. Okay, to get our first study, NGC 5289, we had to do a lot of skippage of deep north and deep south galaxies, for instance. This is a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 13, 1.6 by 0.5 arc-minutes. Now it's magnitude 13. Probably this one here. Let's check out. It's a spiral with a bar, lowercase ab. This one has a more condensed core. This one's more spread out. So adventuresindeepspace.com and look for Steve Gottlieb's eyepiece impressions to disambiguate them. It's 121 million light years distant, which puts it somewhere around 60,000 light years in real diameter. Right ascension 134508 with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 30 minutes and 11 seconds. We are getting some reflected luminosity, which is why I have to press forward for this second half of a century of studies because of reflected light off a roof try, which sooner or later I will have to address by putting some kind of dark material on the underside of that roof try and possibly sliding the mount a little bit further towards me, sitting at the doorway to Penty, the backyard observatory. Okay, disambiguating the galaxies isn't going to take that much trouble because 5290 was a neighbor. It's a galaxy in Canis Venatici. It's larger, magnitude 12.5 and brighter. So this was 5289, I do believe. Magnitude 12.5, 3.7 by 1 arc-minute, all fits, spiral with a lowercase bc, Milky Way-esque. 122 million light years distant. The core looks very bright for a BC. RA is 134519 with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 42 minutes, 47 seconds. If you really want to distinguish these galaxies, check out the visual blue-violet delta. And a BC should have a delta of about 0.7 magnitudes. Hubble Divoculaires is based on shape, not necessarily based on the luminosity spectra of the stars making up the galaxy. The better way to do it is to combine them both together and make sense out of them both if you want to really get a sense of galactic evolution and maturation. NGC 5296 is a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 14.4. This is not it. It's fainter. There's a faint presence right there, very ghostly. Possibly some others in the field. Let's get some more data. Magnitude 14.4, 0.9 by 0.6 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a. We're looking for something with a core. I cannot believe that this could be that far off. Spiral with a lowercase a, 101 million light years distant, so rather small, maybe 35,000 light years in diameter. RA 134619, declination plus 43, 5105. So I'm going to frame them up, and maybe we can disambiguate the field a little bit. There's fainter galaxies present. This is most likely to be 5296, although I don't like the data associated with nor the position in the field of view. NGC 5297 is another galaxy very close to the last one we saw, but it's much brighter. Wow, how could it be that far down on the screen? Galaxy Canis Venatici, magnitude 11.8, 5.7 by 1. This is probably our 5297. Also a spiral with a lowercase c, but huge, maybe 190,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 134623 with a declination of plus 43 degrees, 52 minutes and 20 seconds. It has a faint neighbor. That seems to me to be way too faint to have been 5296, which I believe was the last study, but who knows. Once again, Steve Gottlieb, adventuresindeepspace.com, or go to the Sky Live and see if you can puzzle through the orientation of that 30 arc minute field of view, which is ordinately organized north, south, east, west. This is going to be east, west, south, and north in our field of view. Okay, because we are getting some reflected light, we're going to go to the 5250 series now for anything north of 30 degrees north declination to 30 to 40 degrees north declination. Okay, NGC 5259 is a galaxy in Canis Venatici. I think we're making it out. It's got a nice bright, probably fourth magnitude star to the, what direction is that? To the east. Magnitude 15.2, 1.1 by 0.7 arc minute. It's an elliptical, 805 million light years distant. So it's probably somewhere, if this is an elliptical that large is amazing. It's probably something like 250,000 light years in diameter. It's got a faint galaxy neighboring it. 15.2 could be photographic, so since it's elliptical, it's probably something like magnitude 13.5. We're at right ascension 1339.24 with a declination of plus 30 degrees, 59 minutes and 26 seconds. Sorry, here is the 105x view of NGC 5259 and neighbors. NGC 5265 is probably this galaxy here. Wow. It's a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 14.9, 0.7 by 0.6, but it almost seems like a donut. Right ascension 1340.09, declination plus 36.51.39. Donuts, I know the core is starting to come out, would be more like planetary nebula. Anyway, there's our view of NGC 5265. It looks like it may have an angularity, although it is not listed here in the data associated with it. NGC 5267 is suspected in the field. If this is our galaxy, it's a little bit to the west. In Canis Venatici, magnitude 13.5, 1.4 by 0.5 works for me. Spiral with a bar, lowercase b. Yeah, that core makes it look that way. 277 million light years, maybe 115,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 1340.40 with a declination of plus 38 degrees, 47 minutes, 38 seconds. NGC 5271, look for it. Anything brighter than magnitude 14 should be visible to begin with, but this one looks quite faint. Galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 14.9 by 0.7 arc minute, spiral with a bar and a lowercase a. Yeah, that works. It has an annularity, but it's 497 million light years distant, so probably 160,000 light years in diameter larger than Messier 31. Has a ring, 400, wow. Right ascension is 1341.42, declination plus 30 degrees, 7 minutes 29 seconds. Let's push that up and see if we can make out anything. Well, it already gone to 100x. Of a frontier, the ring must be quite visible, edge on, in much larger scopes. I'm using photography and of the past. There's our view, 5271. NGC 5273 seems to be quite apparent in the field. Not liking where they end up, but it happened here. There we go. Canis Venatici, magnitude 11.6. Oh yeah, 2.7 by 2.2 arc minute. There's a classic lenticular spiral face, almost face on. 50 million light years distant means it's kind of a smallie, maybe 40,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 1342.08 with a declination of plus 35 degrees, 39 minutes and 13 seconds, and it has a neighbor which should pop up soon. However, yeah, because it's plus 30 degrees and further north. Okay, rather than I did reposition, but it's managing to triangulate. We now have 14 stacks of that pair of galaxies. 52, I believe it was 74 and 76. There were some skippages in there. NGC 5276 is a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 13.8, visual, no doubt, 0.9 by 0.5 arc minute, spiral with a bar and a lowercase b. 246 million light years distant, RA 1342.22 with a declination of plus 35 degrees, 37 minutes, 26 seconds. Lots of stacks on this pair of neighboring galaxies. But this one's only 246 million light years distant, but I don't remember the last one. NGC 5282 is suspected near the middle of the field. Yes, there is a galaxy there. It's in Canis Venatici, magnitude 13.2, 1.4 by 1.2 arc minutes, an elliptical with a ring. 535 million light years distant puts this at about 200,000 light years in diameter. My accuracy goes off above 150 to some degree. Here's our 100% e-zoom 150x view. Right ascension 1343.24 with a declination of just a skosh above 30 degrees. 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Backing off once again to that idealized star-like 105x field of view. There's another galaxy up here. Maybe we'll be seeing it soon. Nope, it's not on the docket for tonight, apparently. Too far to the east. Okay, we're now going back to NGC 5251. The bar is almost poking me in the head here, so I'm going to cover everything 20 degrees above, but 5251 we did before sky dark. Here is the sky dark view. Galaxy in Bootes, magnitude 13.8, 0.7 by 0.7 arc minute, spiral with a lowercase a, 497 million light years distant, so probably around 115,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1337.24, declination plus 27 degrees, 25 minutes and 9 seconds. We're going to go everything between 20 and 30 degrees north declination. NGC 5263, no, it's not that globular cluster. I'm going to sneak past that straight away. It's one of these galaxies, a brighter one without a core and a fainter one with a faint core. This one is a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 13.3, 1.6 by 0.4 arc minute. I think you can work that out. Spiral with a lowercase c, yep. 220 million light years distant, so probably around 125,000 light years in diameter. RA 1339.55 with a declination of plus 28 degrees, 23 minutes and 59 seconds. We're going to get a lot of galaxies at that declination, as I noticed from going through the earlier handset data. Okay, not only are we going to get galaxies at 52 and 50 in the plus, no, I must have punched up the wrong number. Hold on. Okay, I got the right data now. Not only that, we're going to get globular clusters, and now we have 10 stacks because I was looking for the data. NGC 5272 is a globular cluster in Canis Venatici. Magnitude 6.3, 18.6 arc minutes in size. Its brightest stars are 12.7. And that means this was fairly condensed because the delta is somewhere around 6.4 magnitudes. However, it's a class 6. I may not believe that. 33,000 light years distant, RA 134211 with a declination of plus 28, 22, 35. It, of course, has another designation, and that is Messier 3. I can't even tell what our zoomage is because it's so bright in the core. All right, let's go back to 70% e-zoom so we get some really beautiful starry resolution. Moving on, but hating to leave this beautiful globular cluster behind. NGC 5274, no, it is not going to be a globular cluster. It is one of several galaxies in Canis Venatici, magnitude 15.7, very faint. 0.5 by 0.5 arc minutes, a little large for, it's probably going to be a magnitude 14.5 or something. It's simply described as a compact. 596 million light years distant, so not that large, so it must be pretty intense to be visual magnitude, somewhere around 15. And I'm not going to quote sizes anymore. I got to move on. Light ascension 1342.23, declination plus 29 degrees, 50 minutes and 50 seconds. AdventuresInDeepSpace.com to disambiguate galaxies in this field. Another galaxy in the same field is NGC 5275 in Canis Venatici, magnitude 14.2, so brighter and about the same size, 0.5 by 0.5 arc minutes, a lenticular. That should help. 66 million light years, right ascension 1342.22, declination plus 29, 49.32. NGC 5277 was a little bit of a jig and a jog away. We're looking for a galaxy in Canis Venatici, magnitude 14.4. Should be further east, and it is. 0.6 by 0.4 spiral with a lowercase bc. Now, I can't tell you which one it is. There's so many galaxies in this field. Let's go up to 100% e-zoom, get all the light we can. This galaxy is much more distant than the last one. It's 529 million light years distant. That's pretty bright for a magnitude 14.4 spiral with a lowercase bc. Right ascension 1342.38, declination plus 29, 57.14. That edge on would help us really disambiguate, wouldn't it? But we seem to have lost it in the field. NGC 5280, galaxy Canis Venatici, magnitude 13.6. It's 0.8 by 0.8 arc minute elliptical. So I do believe this one may be that because it's bright enough. It's an elliptical, 488 million light years distant. It's probably about 140,000 light years in diameter, large for an elliptical. They tend to condense over time as the gravitational influence builds up. Right ascension 1342.55, declination plus 29, 52.06. I'm thinking pretty good on that one there. NGC 5287 may be in the same basic field of view. It's a galaxy. Ooh, that looks like we moved on a little bit. There's a faint galaxy there, however. Oh, could be it. Magnitude 16, 0.7 by 0.3 arc minute lenticular spiral. Okay, it's got a bright core. 803 million light years distant galaxy in Canis Venatici. That would put it at maybe 180,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 1344.52, declination plus 29.46.14. To be sure of that galaxy, I'm sure that Steve Gottlieb will mention a neighboring star very close, within maybe 20 to 30 arc seconds. Okay, we have a now 150x view of our last study, and we are ready to go in sequence now, beginning with NGC. I believe it was around 52, but we'll see. Okay, before I launch in this, I would say that I noticed that the crescent moon with Venus were very close, within about 4 degrees this evening when I stepped out. NGC 5252 is galaxy in Virgo, magnitude 13, 1.4 by 0.9 arc minutes. I can work that. Spiral with a lenticular class, 313 million light years distant. RA 1338.15, declination plus 4, 32.31. We've now gotten our 6th that. Heading south, we're looking for NGC 5254. They tend to be brighter galaxies that were discovered during the eyepiece era, this further south. This one's not too far off. 5254, Galaxy Virgo, magnitude 13, 2.9 by 1.5 arc minute. Look, it's about the right size. Spiral with a lowercase c, oh yeah. 107 million light years distant, RA 1339.37 with a declination of minus 11 degrees, 29 minutes and 38 seconds. NGC 5257, there seem to be a pair of galaxies further up and to the north and the east. In Virgo, magnitude 12.9, 1.6 by 0.8. Go figure. Spiral with a bar, lowercase b, with peculiarities. Those galaxies are interacting. 307 million light years distant, so fairly large. RA 1339.52 with a declination of plus 50 minutes and 24 seconds. Okay, we now have 10 stacks. You can see a little disturbance, but I didn't bother to reposition. The scope did a reposition, but I'm not going to reinitialize image capture. For NGC 5258, Galaxy Virgo, magnitude 12.9, 1.5 by 1.3. Very interesting. Spiral with a bar, lowercase b, 304 million light years distant, RA 1339.57, declination plus 49 minutes and 55 seconds. So I believe it's slightly more to the north. That could be this one right here. Wow. Okay, very nice sky tonight. Nice night sky tonight. We're getting some great views even towards the deep in the south. What we're looking for here is a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 12.9, 1.6 by 1.4, spiral with a bar and lowercase bc. 291 million light years, RA 1340.19, declination minus 23, 51, and 29 seconds. NGC 5261 is a galaxy in Virgo, but very faint. Magnitude 15.3, possibly. Visual magnitude 14, 0.8 by 0.4. Spiral, 320 million light years, RA 1340.16, declination plus 5, 0434. NGC 5264 against a nice dark background sky. Guess what our declination is? We're looking at a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 12, 2.6 by 1.5 arc minute in a regular galaxy. There is a bit of a core there, however. 14.7 million light years distant, so a smallie. RA 1341.36, declination minus 29 degrees, 54 minutes, 48 seconds. That's a very nice sky for almost at the very limit of our parameters for viewing. NGC 5270 is a galaxy in Virgo, magnitude 13.5, 1.1 by 0.8 arc minutes. They're all over the place on the screen. I just don't understand why it's doing that. 1.1, it should be consistently off in different directions, but it's not happening. Magnitude 13.5, 1.1 by 0.8 arc minutes, spiral with a bar, lowercase b. 313 million light years, RA 1342.10 with a declination of plus 4, 1543. NGC 5285, I'm seeing some faint galaxies even at 30x. Let's see what we can pick out here. Based on the data, galaxy in Virgo, magnitude 13.9, 0.8 by 0.8 arc minute. It's an elliptical. So you know what to look for there, right? Hugely distant, if the data is correct. 967 million light years. So this is a huge elliptical galaxy, more than 200,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1344.25 with a declination of plus 2 degrees, 6 minutes and 36 seconds. Really, to give you the size on that, it's probably somewhere around 300,000 light years in diameter. Okay, deep south on this one. And what a nice background sky. Let me give you some data. Okay, we are looking for a galaxy. It's magnitude 14.1, 1.2 by 0.8 arc minutes, elliptical with perturbances. 195 million light years distant. Right ascension is 13 hours, 47 minutes, 24 seconds. Declination is minus, wait for it, 30 degrees, 24 minutes, and 25 seconds. Because every once in a while, I like to go exploring deeper south. This galaxy is in Centaurus. Not only a galaxy, but many, many others. I would recommend you map it out. It's not part of my purview for the Quattro series, but there we have it on a very good night of seeing. NGC 5291. NGC 5293 is probably that vaguey right up to the north and the east on the field of view. Galaxy in Boötes, magnitude 13.1, 1.8 by 1.5 works for me. Spy with a lowercase c, oh yeah. Vague, very vague core, 263 million light years distant, RA 134652 with a declination of plus 16 degrees, 16 minutes, 21 seconds. Sitting here, I'm hoping I can get to hour 14 before I knock off as the moon progresses over the next 4 or 5 days. Let's see if that comes about. Just an aspiration. Oh yeah, there does seem to be a bit of an annularity to this galaxy, so we are seeing a frontier. Okay, our Carpe Noctem view is going to be looking ahead. We're going to be looking ahead to NGC 5300, a galaxy in Virgo. I'm going to go ahead and run it up to about a 60-second exposure time. Let's see if we can get some tracking here. Okay, as we wait for the stack to develop, the first stack, let's keep in mind some things about scopes. They do not track absolutely perfectly. Typically, for longer term exposures in multi-stacking, you need to have an off-axis guider which you focus on a neighboring star, such as this one here, and then it feeds back in corrections into the stepper motors or the DC servos that are used to drive the equatorial and sometimes have to drive the declination axis. My scope is parked on a flexible track flooring here on a deck in the backyard. There can be some flex in the flooring that causes problems, but the mount itself was used and did seem to have its own issues. I have been spending years fine-tuning it. Okay, we're not finding matched triangles here for a stack. So I'm going to have to, there's not enough stars in the field, so let's drop down to a 30-second exposure. Okay, now we're going to go for a 30-second exposure, but I think it laid in the first stack at 60 seconds, so we're getting actually a pretty good view. It just wasn't able to stack the next image because the stars, it couldn't find 3 of them that it could do a precision stack on. Now, obviously, if you're doing a stack on brighter stars, you're going to have more error. So let's see about that. This particular galaxy looks a little bit like the Crab Nebula. We've now got our very first stack at 30 seconds. Now, I get consistently good results at 30-second stacking, and I get occasionally good results at 60. We're now at plus 3 degrees, 57 minutes, and 2 seconds for NGC 3000. And that could be a factor, too, that the better the definition of the stars in the middle third of the sky, the better you're tracking. We've just added a second stack to this galaxy. There's a certain vagueness to its frontier, which would be nice to see that be resolved a little bit better. The other thing you want to look for in galaxies like this is H2 regions or even globular clusters that present themselves. Emissive H2 regions are star formation regions, and typically you see those in less mature galaxies because they go through a process of progenitor stars irradiating localized gas and dust, compressing it through electromagnetic radiation pressure waves that result in Bach globules, accretion disks, planetary development, and a core star development, but typically only in open cluster formation. So there'll be numerous stars all formed at the same time. We're now 29 minutes and 15 seconds in this video. I do not wish to exceed 30 minutes in my videos. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make this our carpe noctem view, but I will give it another stack before doing so. It's now saying we have 5 stacks, but typically it counts the very first one, which is not at the full exposure time of 30 seconds. So this is probably going to be our 5th stack. Watch it. Which, come on, do something. It's triangulating. Come on. It's not showing, oh, it's showing a 6th stack, even though it says stack finished. Anyway, that's our final stack, and typically by the 3rd stack, you're getting a pretty decent view of any exposure time. And with that, I'm going to say carpe noctem.